Hare Om Gyanatidandasya Gyanatidandasya Tasmai Shri Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyadi Paschata Veshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So thank you so much everyone for coming here. Yesterday also class was very nice and hopefully you attended at least online over the club. So really from morning everybody sitting and chanting here. For me though it was a lot of benefit from morning. So maybe after a long time of sitting at a stage and chanting peacefully without any managerial things. So it was very nice. So somehow that's why Sadhu Sanga is a very powerful. Even we are not able to chant in their association, we can also chant. So that is the reason. So don't miss this kind of sessions. And that's the reason yesterday also and last week we were informing all the early senior devotees to come and participate. So thank you so much for coming here. And regarding this great Sachidanandapr, is a very senior devotee in ISKCON and very many years is practicing Krishna consciousness and many projects, temple projects. We are like, we are dreaming from many years in Bangalore to do some project. Now Prabhu goes and completes like this project. So it may be Aravade, it may be Noida, now Nagpur, Vijayanagar, Aravade. There are so many temples. Just he goes, gives entry and exit. Very soon complete and come back. So Noida is such a big temple. So Prabhu getting almost 1 year, 15 minutes, 15 months. So project completed and handed over to Maharaj and came back. So like that, wherever Prabhu goes, because of the sincere taste for Harinam, automatically the project completes. So at least we have, for many years I was trying to attend Prabhu's session. And mostly Prabhu does in Vrindavan, Govardhan. So Jainita Prabhu, many times he messaged, somehow we could not go. Mercifully, that's what no. There are two kinds of dams. One is Stira Dham means it will stay, another Dham comes to us. So walking Dham and stable Dham. So these are the devotees who comes walking towards us so that give their association to us. So Prabhu has come such a far to give us his valuable association to all of us. And literally, whenever we hear Prabhu lecture, last time who was there in Vrindavan? So because of all your requests, so Prabhu has arrived here and you know. So thank you so much. So, now just keep here and I think everybody has a pen and paper. Please write down whatever questions you have and those also can be listed out and you can ask when the question hour comes. And this is the best time for us to at least focus on our japa and where we are doing mistake, how we were doing japa now, what would be the next, our goals, goal setup, how to chant, what should be the mood while chanting. These all things, yesterday also Prabhu very clearly, very simple way Prabhu explained. So this is the best time for all of us. Don't think about home or household things. This is the time today we dedicate for this to reform our japa. Otherwise we will be going years together and we don't know how to chant. And same thing we are teaching to our juniors also. You chant like this, speak and chant. So those things, at least we'll stop. Enough is enough. Now at least we'll chant focusedly. For that Prabhu will give all the tips. Take out and write it down as there. On the stone we write for the long time. So when that you write down and follow that. And And really, wherever any project is not moving, that finally comes to Prabhu only. So that's what I heard from my seniors. And Maharaj handovers to Prabhu, you do it. Once it hand over to Prabhu, it will complete in 1 year, 1.5 years. So like that, such way Maharaj loves him lot. That I know. And you have seen last time in Vrindavan also when Maharaj Prabhu came on the stage, Maharaj was pulling him towards, pulling him and hugging him. So such a nice, devotee has come to us and to give his wonderful association. We are very, very grateful to you, Prabhuji, for coming.
Thank you for inviting, Prabhuji. So Mahaprabhu, he's saying that Panchanga Bhakti is very powerful. These 5 limbs, Rupa Goswami gave 64 limbs in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Mahaprabhu is endorsing that these 5 limbs, Nama Sankirtan, Sadhu Sanga, Bhagavad Shravan. So yesterday we heard something about the name and we chanted today. So we did Nam Sankirtan. So we will hear something about Sadhu Sanga, some Mahatmya, some about Sadhu Sanga and Bhagavad Shravan. We are here in Dham, Godham, 1200, I think, cows are here, 1200 cows. So this is a big Dham, Godham. And we have here, with faith, we are worshipping Gauranitai, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. So Panchanga Bhakti, 5 limbs of devotional service, deity worship, Dham, residing in the Dham, and Sadhu Sanga, Bhagavad Shravan, and Nam Sankirtan. They all are very powerful. Each one of them is so powerful that only by one you can make perfection. But unfortunately, the majority of us are very heavily conditioned because of Kali Yuga. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he advises that we take shelter of all 5. That way we will make, our progress for sure. So first we will just hear about Sadhu Sanga. So in Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya is explained, Yasya yat sangati pumso manivat syat satat guna swakulyadidhyay tato dhiman swayuthani eva samsrayet. As the qualities of a nearby object are reflected in a crystal, one similarly takes on the qualities of a person with whom he associates. Yesterday we read Prabhupada saying, you associate with a saint, you will become saint. Associate with a drunkard, you will become a drunkard. Therefore, a wise man should take shelter of those sadhus who are more advanced than him, affectionate, and have the same temperament. Swajatiya snigde. You should have a affectionate relationship, then the mercy flows much better. So at least you should have at least one advanced devotee, heart-to-heart relationship, then you are guaranteed perfection. At least one, and that relationship has to be a heart-to-heart one. Mostly we have Sadhu Sanga on a working relationship, but it should gradually transform to a heart-to-heart relationship. We have a lot of heart-to-heart relationships with friends, relatives. Now we have to gradually have even stronger relationships with the advanced devotees, right? So that's how important Sadhu Sanga is. By association and service of Vaishnavas, what happens? So what happens? What is the benefit of associating with sadhus, Vaishnavas and serving them? First thing you get is taste. Taste for bhakti, taste for the holy name, taste for reading Bhagavatam, taste for serving the deity, taste for staying in the dham, taste for hearing the glories of of the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Right? You get taste. Second benefit you get is that you gradually are freed from ignorance and Sambandh Gyan develops. What is Sambandh Gyan? Who am I? Because we are all in the bodily concept of life. By Sadhu Sangha, we will come to know our real identity. We are in a false identity at the moment. Who is God? Who is Krishna? And what is our relationship with Krishna? And how this material world binds us and how we can come out of the material world. This is known as Sambandha Gyana. So by associating with the devotees on a regular basis, you will develop Sambandha Gyana. You will actually come to know who you are, what your relationship with Krishna is, and how you can get out of this material world. That's the second thing, right? The third thing is you get knowledge. Ever since we were little children, we were sent to school. You must get knowledge, you must learn, you must get degree, you must work in IT. Right? So, knowledge, take knowledge, knowledge is knowledge. But that is material knowledge which is necessary just for the body. We never got knowledge in schools, colleges about the soul, about God, about the spiritual world, about how God creates this whole material universe and the spiritual universe. We never got that knowledge. So by associating with the sadhus, you get this knowledge. Then you get the strength. By associating with the sadhus, you get the strength to follow the vows. Jnanasim Achyuta Bala. Lord Balram, he has spiritual strength. So when you serve the sadhus, you get the strength to follow the four regulative principles, to chant 16 rounds, right? By serving the sadhus, by associating, you get the strength to practice bhakti. Then, by associating with the sadhus, your desires, material desires, are gradually eradicated. Bhukti, mukti, siddhi, the desire to enjoy and exploit the material energy that slowly goes away. The desire for liberation, merging into the Lord, that gradually goes away by associating with the sadhus. and the desire for yogic perfection, walking on the water, flying in the sky, all these things, having so much power that just by like this mantra you can kill your opponent, like Durvasabhuti, get if he had been you're feeling weak, but you think अगर if I had the siddhi तो अभी उसको बलि चढ़ा देता. So you by associating you lose this desire for bhakti mukti siddhi. So all these are the benefits by properly associating with the sadhus. Now in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is described that Krishna Bhakti Janma Mool Hoy Sadhu Sang. Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can look up and you can take a note also, keep in your diary. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 22.83. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mool Hoy Sadhu Sang. Krishna Prem Teno Puna Mukhya Ang. Janme Teno Puna Mukhya Ang. The root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. Just as one receives the seed of the creeper of devotion, Bhakti Lata Beej, from a devotee, similarly one advances through every stage of Krishna consciousness by the grace of the devotees. So this is explained that Sadhu Sang is the root of bhakti. Now you see some trees, they are like stunted and they may not have fruits and leaves and they are like dried up like that, stunted growth, Why is that? If you will dig, you will see that their roots are very short and very thin, right? But then you see other trees, they are very tall, very stout, and they have survived cyclones and tsunamis. And if you see their roots, you will see they have deep roots and very thick roots and lots of roots. It's a big web of roots. So the devotee who wants to make swift progress, his sadhu sang is root. His roots have to be very deep, widely spread, and thick, solid. So you have to have solid sadhu sang if you really want Krishna, because it's by their mercy that you will be able to progress through sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. All three stages you need sadhu sang. Now the biggest misconception we see in spiritual societies is that initially a newcomer, he's very enthusiastic and eager to associate with devotees. After some time, he starts preaching and he collects a very big group of devotees. So he has, by default, no time to seek for his own personal association, and he keeps on, giving association to all the devotees whom he has made, and he's, doing that. And he thinks that he's doing sadhu sanga. I'm always in sadhu sanga. That is correct. You are doing sadhu sanga. But you have some cup, plastic cup is there, or some Achman cup and bottle, you can show. I'm going to show them an experiment. Good. Some plate. Right? Yeah, that is the, and bring one plate under this. So, you see, this is your Krishna consciousness, right? And this plate is what you supposed to give out, right? And this is the Sadhu Sanga you should be taking, right? So you pour into your Krishna, you keep on your Krishna consciousness, you keep pouring, right? Now what I describe what happens, you took Sadhu Sanga, then you started giving, and what happened after some time? Empty. But not like that. What you're supposed to do is that you keep on taking Sadhu Sanga always, so you are always full, and the overflowed water, that is for others. That is the right system. You can never give up, because you see, it's like this power bank. So when you went in the train journey to Vrindavan, you took full charge power bank. Then somebody said, "Oh, mera mobile, please, can you give me?" So you gave. Then another guy came. After some time, at 11 o'clock, there is no power to charge your mobile or your power bank. You go to charge and it's zero. Right? So we should not be like that. We should always take association and give association. Right? Like Prabhupada said, highest realization is to help others grow in Krishna consciousness. But even higher than that is to save oneself. So Krishna is not pleased, like supposing somebody is drowning in the river and I don't know how to swim and I try to save him and I also drown with him. And Krishna will go, "Wow." So first make sure that you don't drown and then save others. If you don't know how to swim, throw some dhoti or some rope and save him. Or ask someone who knows how to swim to go and save you. But if you think, "No, I will," and you don't know, then what will happen? So that is not very intellectual. So this is why it is the root. We must make sure that our Bhakti Lata Beej roots are very stout and strong and deep. By guidance of well-wishers, sadhakas can discover where their practices are lacking, right? You see, we all have blind spots. Because we have false ego, right? We don't always accept our shortcomings, our lackings. So to get knowledge, there are 3 stages, right? The first stage is awareness. So you hear something that during japa, I think they are going to show you also this drama where somebody will be falling asleep during japa. So we all are aware that what is sleeping in japa, because we see others, you know. So that is the first stage of knowledge, that you understand through the example of somebody else. That is the first level of knowledge. It's not the second level of knowledge. So first is awareness, second is acceptance. That means now you accept that even you sometimes fall asleep during japa. And when is it? Right? So this is more difficult. This is more difficult. Because the ego doesn't allow that, you know. No, उतना खराब नहीं है, तो खाली कल थकान था इसलिए, बाकी हर रोज मेरा बढ़िया होता है, कभी नींद नहीं आता है. So that is the second level where you accept. So for that we will, in the afternoon session, we will talk about manan. So when you do manan, mananat papas prati. When you do manan, doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. You come to understand that you have made mistakes. And the third level is change. You implement change so that you correct yourself, right? So Rupa Goswami is saying, Guyam Akhyati Prachati, how to associate with devotees. This is the essential part of association. So this is what is mentioned here. By guidance of well-wishers, sadhakas can discover where their practices are lacking. For example, I am suffering from lust. I am chanting my rounds, I am reading, I am doing everything. I am working for 25 years and still my lust, well, it reduced a lot. 80% has gone, but 20% is still there and it's not going. So now I will go to this, my sadhu, who is more advanced than me, and I will tell him confidentially that, still, sometimes I get these thoughts and, why is this? Then he will tell me and help me that why my lust has not gone. So he may tell like, are you still dhyayato vishayan? So then I say, yeah, I know that slok, dhyayato vishayan. Okay, what is dhyayato? So then he will say, look up in the dictionary, what is dhyayato? So if you look up in the dictionary, dhyayato, it is contemplating with the senses or the mind. Just like a surveyor, if you call a surveyor to do survey of this Goshala, he will measure the length, the breadth, the soil, like that. So, because you are still contemplating, so then he may ask questions. If you look at an opposite sex, how many times do you look? So then you will understand, yeah, I'm looking 3 times. So then you will be, so this is how the guidance of the sadhaka can help you, very minutely diagnose what mistake I am making which is not helping me make progress. So this is the importance of having a heart-to-heart relationship. Because if you don't have heart-to-heart relationship, you will never reveal to anyone, because okay, you have 25 years, now if you reveal and it's in the market, your market is finished. So you think it will go away by itself, but it's not going. 25 years it didn't go by itself. If you keep on feeding, knowingly or unknowingly an anartha, it does not die, it grows. We cannot remove the anarthas, but we have to stop feeding the anarthas. And how do we feed the anarthas, knowingly or unknowingly? We have to learn from the sadhu, you know. How that lack can be corrected, how adequate practices can be further enhanced. So they give you both things, how to remove your weakness and lackings, and how to further whatever strengths you have, like preaching, so how you can preach more. So kirtan, how you can do better kirtan. You're already doing good kirtan, but you're doing A grade kirtan, how you can do A plus. Now if you're doing A plus, how you can do A double plus. If you're doing A double plus, how you can do A triple plus. So enhancement like that, they help on both to develop your strengths more and to overcome your weaknesses. Now, if your sadhu sang and material sang is equal and you are chanting 8 rounds, then you will keep on chanting 8 rounds. It will not increase and it will not decrease. If at any point you increase your material association, your chanting will go to 4 rounds, 2 rounds, like that. However, if you reduce your material association and you increase your sadhu sang, you will start chanting from 16 to 24, 32, like that, right? So sadhu sang, which is occasional, has to become frequent, We associate once in a week, like that. You have to associate more. And association can also be done by the books, It's like when you're reading Upadeshamrita, you're associating with Prabhupada, you're associating with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because his purport commentary is there, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami. And if you read with that gratitude towards all of them, then you will get more access, more mercy, right? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, one who is lazy in properly understanding Vaishnava Siddhanta can never become free from anarthas, can never render actual service to the Lord. So, only by understanding the Siddhantas properly in the association of devotees, right, can we render proper service. Like, cleanliness, if you go in hospitals, if you go in the 5-star kitchens, they have a very solid standard of hygiene and cleanliness, And Prabhupada has made 2 statements about cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and cleanliness is godliness. So you have to imbibe the cleanliness, otherwise, you're touching the asana and then you're putting your hand in the japa bag and you're removing some earwax and then you're lubricating the japa mala. This is all tamogun. Also, you have to, now you may think, what is all this? Cleanliness is godliness. What is the meaning of that? You have to learn. It's not such a big deal. If the karmis can do it, why can't you do it? So Siddhanta, Siddhanta has to be learned. So many Siddhantas, If we don't, then we make offense and we don't make progress. Like you see, we put these blocks under Prabhupada, right? Why? Because it's a Siddhanta. The Lord has to be higher than Prabhupada, and the speaker has to be lower than Prabhupada. If I am sitting on an equal level to Prabhupada, that's offensive. That's not the Siddhanta. Right? So many Siddhantas are there. So by associating, sometimes we read, but we don't pick up the Siddhanta. But by associating and serving under their supervision, we come to know so many things. Right? Because if we want to serve Krishna one day, face to face, we have to become expert. There is not, there's no room for making mistakes. Daksha, we sing in the Guru Puja, you have to become expert. So we have to learn gradually. Only by associating, we will learn. And then we can remove our anarthas. And then the Lord will accept our service. Mind can be biggest asat sanga. Sometimes we think we are not associating with any bad people, but already before we associated, and our mind is having a lot of impressions, and those impressions are asat sanga. Asat sanga. Yesterday we discussed this, remembering an advanced soul, one gets 1% of the punya sukruti, right? Padma Puran, Uttarakhand, chapter 112. So when you remember Acharyas, Guru, Srila Prabhupada, Haridas Thakur, Madhvendra Puri, Goswamis, Tulsi, Giriraj, Yamuna, you're all. Because we learn better when we understand the opposite, so we also have to know what is asat sanga. We are seeking sadhu sanga, but we have to know what is asat sanga. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that there is two things in association. One is association and one is attachment. One is attachment. Asatsang, there can be association, asatsang and attachment. So the first asatsang is associating with, Mayavadis, Jnanis, Karmis, materialistic people, yogis, demigod worshippers, dry logicians, atheists, sense enjoyers, And there is one which is very dangerous. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he is the pretender or the dharma dvaji. He's putting the flag that he is like religious and dharma, but his intention, his object is materialistic. It's materialistic. So if you mistakenly think him as a devotee and associate with him, you will get contaminated. Because he is carrying a lot of these anarthas and negativity, materialistic desires and like that. It is also said that if you like to associate with materialists, then devotee, that means you have very strong material desires. Because when you associate with devotees, they talk about cutting those desires. And we associate with God, yeah, yeah, 2 crore banao, 5 crore banao. So that shows where you are, whose association do you like, you know. So you can do an exercise, you know. All the ones who are near and dear, make a list of that and then categorize them. And then see what strategy you can do to, you know, make more progress. You don't have to give them up, but you have to stop. Now, this is a very important point. What is the meaning of association? Emotional exchange. Where there is no emotional exchange, there is no Sangha. You see? For example, you're going in a train and somebody is eating an ice cream. And you see, and you are not getting interested in the ice cream, you have not associated with him. But if you are getting impressed by the ice cream, or if you are going to preach and you are getting impressed by the big 10 crore flat and the mobile, like that, that means you are associating. So you have to deal without emotions, serving them, caring for them, but not intimate. You have to serve them. You may have a relative who is not a devotee, but you serve, care, do your duty, but don't have so much emotional with them, then you are not associating, but you are doing your duty. Then that is the way Vaishnavas deal, you know. You have to be like that. The other association, bad as Asat Sang association, is women and womanizers. So, and this goes vice versa, for Matajis is Prabhuji, and for Prabhuji is Mataji. So, if you associate only with your wife, following all the Grihastha rules and regulations, then you are not doing Asat Sangha. But if you are even associating with your wife for the purpose of sense gratification and breaking the rules of Grihastha ashram and behaving like a Grihamedi, that is also Asat Sangha. The other thing is to associate with other women, and that can be done by any ashram, you know. Maybe a brahmachari and he's getting affected, maybe a sannyasi, like that. So that is not right. So that is Asat Sangha. And to associate with like a playboy, like, you know, someone who is very much attached to women and always thinking about, that is even worse. That is even worse than associating with a woman. Because he will give you a steroid of lust injection. And then your lust will go like that, you know. And you think he's a Prabhuji, so what? But he's just meditating constantly about the opposite sex, so he will contaminate you more. So you have to know what not to do and what to do. Associate with the right sadhus and not to associate with that. The other Asat Sangha that is mentioned is attachment. Attachment to assets, gross and subtle. So attachment, too much attachment to the house, to the car, to the mobile, wife, children. There has to be natural, but not too much, not excessive. Right? That is, and then even subtle, like desire for fame, position, power, like this.
Feeling like the spiritual institution and you're attached to this. So that is not a good attachment. You should be doing the seva but not attached to these things.
The other attachment is prejudice, ancient and modern. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains in Bhakti Aloga that from prejudice your swabhav is developed, your nature. Ye mera swabhav hai. This is my nature, Prabhu. So how your nature became? From past prejudices, previous life and this life. So like some people, they will say, I only like blue. Some people will say, I hate blue. So you should not hate, nor be too much attached. Otherwise you commit offense. For example, if you are a rice eater and during Prasadam festival they are serving and he puts 3 chapatis, chapati. So that is Prasadam. You are behaving like that. And somebody is like a chapati eater and somebody puts so much rice. Then there is the Krodhi swabhav, your nature is to get quickly angry, So this prejudice has to be worked upon. You should behave like a saint, You should get rid of prejudice. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that until you get rid of these prejudices, you cannot be free of the 10 offenses and you cannot chant consistently and purely. So you have to work and get rid of these prejudices. Now when Durvasa Muni, he went and committed offense of Ambarish Maharaj, and then the Sudarshan Chakra was behind him and he went to Brahma and Lord Shiva and then finally ended up meeting Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. So that time the Lord told him, Aham Bhakta Paradino Na Swatantra. I am not independent. I am dependent on my devotees, So I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. I sit within the core of their heart. Sadhu Grasta Hridayo. What to speak of my devotee? Even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. So now we see why, because Krishna is in their heart of a real good advanced sadhu, and sadhu is in Krishna's heart, So that's why if we want to make connection with Krishna, we have to go through the sadhu. We cannot go direct, Like Lord Krishna told Arjuna that, one who thinks my devotee is not my devotee, but one who is a devotee of my devotee is my real devotee. So that's why we have to take shelter of sadhus, Sadhu Sanga. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam toham madanyatena jananti nam tebhyo managapi. The pure devotee is always within the core of my heart. Lord Narayan is telling Durvasa Muni. And I am always in their heart of the pure devotee, in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anything else but them. You know? So we see when Mahaprabhu is saying this Sadhu Sanga is very powerful. You see, now we can understand why it is so powerful. When we read these things, we will understand why it's so powerful. Now, Srila Prabhupada is the all-time Shiksha Guru of ISKCON. And why is it that? Because we say what? He is the founder Acharya. So there are 5 qualities of a founder Acharya. First is Udarika. Udarika. He is the savior of everyone. Those who come after him are called Upakarika, his helpers. They are never to be equated with the founder Acharya. They are assistants of Prabhupada. Second, he is Dina Bhai. Dina Bhai. He removes the fear of fallen souls by his teachings. Anyone who takes shelter becomes fearless. Dina Bhai. First is Udarika, second is Dina Bhai. Third is, he gives purpose to those scriptures containing Vaishnav Siddhant. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Prabhupada gave purpose, right? Otherwise, how could we understand? And he makes such purports so easy, so they are available to the whole world. Such books are called Mahagranthas. He also gives purports to the Vaishnava songs, to the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas. Prabhupada did that also. His very name, Bhakti Vedanta, his very name becomes identified with the philosophy of Lord Vishnu himself. For such is his transparency and potency. So, how do we connect with sadhus? To make to have a good relationship between two persons, both are asking 3 questions, right? This person is asking, can you help me? And he is also asking, can you help me? This person is asking, do you care for me? This person is also asking, do you care for me? This person is asking, can I trust you? This person is also asking, can I trust you? If all three questions are satisfied, good relationship. You connect. Everyone communicates, but very few connect because they don't address these things. So you have to become trustworthy, caring and helping, right? You have to help the sadhu in their mission, you have to care for the sadhus, and you have to be trustworthy, become trustworthy. What is trustworthy? At least do what you say. That is, start from there. Then follow the principles strictly, right? Keep your vows, your promises, like that. So this is how you connect. In order to develop good relationship with sadhus, you have to spend quality time. Spend quality time with them. Time is very precious, but you need to spend because that is the root of bhakti, right? So you need to spend time in serving them, helping them, caring for them. following the instructions, like that. Appreciate them, always have gratitude towards them, right? And have intense desire for heart-to-heart relationship with them. In Chaitanya Shikshamrita Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, before planting a seed in the field, it is necessary to first plow the field. Here we are talking about our heart as the field and planting Bhakti Lata Beach, the holy name. The holy name is the Bhakti Lata Beach. The fortunate soul receives from the true Guru instructions to give up quest for Bhukti Mukti Siddhi. Devotee association, this cleansing will result from devotee association. So by associating with devotees, your heart will become clean and ready for Bhakti Lata Beach to grow nicely. Aspirants will consider themselves lower than a blade of grass, Trinadapi Sunichena, more humble than a tree. Talor Apisaisnuna, Amani Namandena Kirtanisa. They will give respect and not desire respect. Having developed this nature, so you associate and you develop the right nature now. Having developed this nature, they are qualified for the name. So it's like a phase. In phase 1, our chanting is either offensive or shadow. But it is not the name. Why? Because the heart is not ready. And we have not developed these qualities of humility, tolerance, forgiveness, pridelessness, right? So, you have to go on. You don't have to stop. It's not that, because I'm not there, you keep on, you keep cleaning, keep cleaning your heart. Prepare. And one day your heart will come. Now you are qualified for the name, right? That means you are qualified now for Shuddha. Such practice is preparing the field for planting. As if subduing a wild horse, the devotee must trick the mind into submission. Wild horse, how you control it, So similarly, this wild mind has to be brought under control by whatever, Sham Dam Dand Ved. Like Raghunath Das Goswami says, oh my dear brother mine, I catch your lotus feet, please give up pride. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, beat the mind, not physically, with the broom and the shoes in the morning and evening. You are a Vaishnava. What kind of Vaishnava you are? Why you are thinking like this? All these demoniac thoughts. Like that. So by preach, so Mana Shiksha, you preach to your mind. It's easy to preach to others, but we also need to preach to our own mind. This is called Yukta Vairagya, which is helpful in gaining advancement in chanting. So we finished on the Sadhu Sanga. Hopefully you will get the recording. Yeah? So this one-time hearing will not help. we advise in the retreats, hear at least 11 times and make notes. What notes? Take diamonds. Because these are all Gyan ke Hire Moti. These are diamonds of knowledge which will help you grow spiritually. So you have to take them, like you see, I have this diary. It's all full of all diamonds. If I have to give lecture, I don't have anything. I just have this. In 3 minutes, the lecture is ready. So like that, you have to have your diary. You have to have your first aid kit. Yesterday we talked about enthusiasm. So in the house, when somebody gets some bruise or something, you have the boric powder and the cream and the band-aid and like that. So you need to have your spiritual first aid kit. When you are down, you should know which lecture will boost you up, which devotees, phone call or association will boost you up, which prasadam will boost you up, which kirtan will boost you up, or going to Vrindavan or Puri, or which will boost you up. You should know that. So whenever you feel down, you do that and boom. Like sometimes I feel like, oh. So I take rest and I put on my favorite kirtan, and after 5 minutes, it's so powerful, it's so powerful, right? It works. So you should know that, right? So now we'll talk, we don't have much time, so we'll go on to scriptures, because Bhagavad Shravan, that's one of the 5 limbs which are potent, And just recently you all must have distributed books, right? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्म ज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्टदृशामेष पुराणर्को अधुनोदित. So now question? Okay. So they are saying you may forget. So you can ask now if you want to ask about Sadhu Sanga any question.
So how to identify advanced devotees? You said that we have to all associate with advanced devotees. With our limited knowledge, with my limited knowledge, how do I find out advanced devotees? How do I choose?
Yeah, so that is explained by the Yogendras, that there is the Kanishta Adhikari who has faith which can be changed, little faith, who has little faith and who doesn't have much scriptural knowledge, right? And then there's the Madhyamadhikari who has solid faith and says around 60% knowledge of the scriptures, And then there is the Uttamadhikari who has the full faith and full knowledge of the scriptures. So this is one way to know. And if you don't know anything, then you can judge by the result. Associate and see whether you are being boosted or roasted. That is a simple but a dangerous way. And then so that's why, Mahaprabhu said that, if you want to know who is Guru, first you should know what is a Guru. You are out there to search Guru, you should know. So that is explained in the first sloka. Who is the Guru? Who can make disciples all over the world? One who can control his speech, vacho vegam. One who can control his mind, vacho vegam, manasa krodha. One who can control and not out of control of anger. Most of us, when we get angry, we go out of control. No, not controlled anger. He may get angry and then after next minute his friend is caring for you. He doesn't keep it. He's forgiven you for whatever mistake like that. That's a sadhu, That's a guru. That's like a real Vaishnava. So vacho ekam manasa krodha jiva. So he doesn't eat the book. He eats what is required to sustain the body, right? Udara upastha. He doesn't fill his belly, keep on filling the belly, right? And he has controlled his sex desire. So he is qualified like that, so you can see gradually. So in order to really know, you have to yourself read nicely. Then you will know who is who, and by associating you can know up till then. That is the best way.
Thanks a lot for the beautiful session of Sadhu Sanga. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You have mentioned that what is Sadhu Sanga, who is Sadhu, who is affectionate and temperament. Maybe the like-minded association. Also, please elaborate on like-minded association only, because Prabhupada mentions that Sachidanandapr Vaishnava. So please elaborate on that point too.
See, on our level, like-minded means someone we can get on much better, like somebody, supposing he's just memorizing a lot of slokas and all that, but you are more analytical, So then you just don't like memorizing, the slokas like that. And then the way they do the kirtan, the tunes and all that. So like that you will know, what is like-minded. Your mind will like it, that is like-minded. But it should be the right thing, not the wrong thing. That will uplift you. It's like prasadam, So you know what prasadam you like. So by hearing, by associating, you will know. So that's why even in the initiation, we are told that you watch the Guru, associate and watch the Guru for 1 year, and the Guru watches and associates with you for 1 year. And you communicate with the Guru, you ask questions, he answers, and then you come to know. Like that. That is the primary step. The very advanced level is that you are on the same rasa. For example, if someone like Sakha, someone has friendly relationship with Krishna, and he is associating with someone who is Shantaras, just neutral. So he will feel very dry there, What he will talk to him? Yes, they appreciate Krishna, but there's no service, there's no, embracing Krishna, no playing games with Krishna. There's never talk about all these things. But for us, it's a long way away. First, we have to see what our mind likes in the spiritual, and that devotee we can get on together well and associate with them, and he should be more advanced than us. His chanting is better than us, his knowledge of the scriptures is better, and his service attitude, more dedication, like that, all these things you have to see. So advanced and liking.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving such a wonderful lecture. Prabhuji, I'm having a question that even after getting Sadhu Sanga in the past, especially the devotees in the Chaitanya Leela, like Ramchandra Puri, even though he got the association of his Guru Madhavendra Puri, he committed offenses. But in Chaitanya Leela also there is one more devotee called Krishna. He was having the association of Lord himself, but still he got little deviated. Why is it that even getting the Sadhu Sangha, he got deviated from
Krishna Das was like this, right? He was associating with those women and with Mahaprabhu. And then this association went up and he went. And the first one you were saying was Ramchandra. So there he got too close. Familiarity breeds contempt, right? And he started instructing his guru, Maryada Vyatikram, etiquette. We cannot instruct those who are above us. This is etiquette. So he broke the etiquette. And that's how he got implicated. And he also was not associating with the right devotees.
He was like this, like I showed this, he was empty. He was not getting any sangha. That's why he was making all very chronic and very big mistakes with his own guru, who was, on such an advanced level that just by remembering you get love, and he's not getting love because he's not associating with him. In fact, his ego got like Romerson, He was giving a class, and Lord Balram came, and he's thinking that because I'm on the Vyasa, again, he doesn't know the etiquettes, Siddhanta. He didn't understand the Siddhanta, his anarthas remain. He was just like a drama guy giving the lecture. So he's thinking that Lord Balram has to pay me obeisances. So what Lord Balram did with the grass? On the Vyasa. So that's why you have to follow the etiquette, Sadachar, Siddhanta, Sambandha, Seva, Sadhana, Swasthya. All these things you have to learn with the Shastra and the association of devotees. Otherwise,
Hare Krishna. So you were mentioning association means emotional exchange. So how to develop that emotional exchange with the devotees? And if you develop emotional exchange with the non-devotees, so they take an advantage and that decrease our spirituality. So this too, how can I understand those?
see, if you have to invite a relative who's not a devotee in your house and feed him nice prasadam, you do that with care and everything, but not with so much affection, but as a duty and as for preaching like that, because he's at the moment on that level, right? Not with so much love and affection. But when a devotee comes, you with your heart, with full heart, because then you will grow. You serve with love and affection. Bring out the emotion. You got it? Sang lena, sang dena. Taking association, giving association. So you take from above and you give below. You don't take from below but you give. You tell them, please read this. Life comes from life, very good book. Please hear this kirtan, please take this prasadam, please visit the center. This, you're serving them. You're thinking about their welfare, but no affection. No, मेरा fast friend आ गया. Hare Krishna. Like during COVID, nobody is shaking hands. They are finding all new methods and all that. Like this, So, and social distance, right? So learn from there. Otherwise, the virus. Okay? Any question on this side? Please give the mic. We should not also get angry with supposing we go in the market, we should not get too angry and all that. Otherwise, you are getting contaminated because you are emotionally exchanged with that guy. Anger is also an emotion. Love is an emotion. Like that. Yes.
So my question is, Krishna is in everyone, right? So irrespective of devotee or non-devotee, why can't we serve all with love, devotion and affection?
Why can't we?
Serve all with love, devotion and affection.
Serve.
All, serve all.
Okay.
Serve all.
We serve everyone, but at the moment they are not ready, so we do as a matter of duty and not do emotional exchange because we will get contaminated. See, like a doctor, right? A surgeon. You see, during COVID, many doctors who had low immunity, they themselves died. You know that? Right? So understanding that at present I have low immunity, I do a protected job. That I serve them, I put on the mask and all that. And what is that mask? That serve as a duty, care, help. I want to save them. But I don't want to get, because my immunity level at the moment is not so like that, in that mood. When they are free from COVID, then I can exchange freely with the love and devotion.
So how to build that swabha, like that will
By knowledge, gradually.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, Prabhuji was asking, you told, during association also we have to be careful, familiarity. So like that, what all points are there, while in association we should always be careful about it. So that association just helps us not decrease.
Yeah, one thing is that we should not be too familiar, we should be very respectful, and we should, once we have selected like guru and devotee, then we don't judge them, we don't find faults with them, right? Because when you find fault, then you end up like Ramchandra Puri, like that, right? So you have to develop these qualities of no fault finding, no judging, before you discern whom to associate, whom not to associate with. But after you have selected, then you stop looking at the minor faults, Because they may be there, minor things may be there, but don't look at that, just look at the positive side like that. So you can practice gratitude, how the devotee, like for example, you are all here, associating with Venu Madhav Prabhu, so how he helped you, where you were, like that gratitude, you can write some gratitude points like that, you can write gratitude to Prabhupada, how Prabhupada saved you, if Prabhupada were not come in your life, what would have happened?
So that gratitude is good. And then the etiquettes. So I think, have you done this Sadachar, Prabhuji? Sadachar? So maybe you should do Sadachar. So if you follow Vaishnava etiquettes, then you are safe. So Prabhuji will do some seminar for you on Sadachar, Vaishnava etiquette. There is also a booklets. So you can give them on the group what book is there. So by following Sadachar, you remain safe.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next.
Okay. So we will talk about scriptures, right? So when Krishna left, then he left us the Bhagavatam. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. 1.3.43. This Bhagavad Puram is as brilliant as the sun, and it has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. So, we all know that the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the form of Krishna. The first canto and the second canto are the lotus feet of Krishna. And then progressing on, the 11th canto is the head, the intelligence, the mind, and the 12th canto is the crown. And 10th canto is the face of Krishna. So if you take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, because it is spotless, there's only pure devotional service in Srimad Bhagavatam. I know in my beginning days, when I had some problem, I would just go to take one Bhagavatam and go like this. Kulja sim sim, shoo! That's the solution. Every time, whatever page I open, I got the solution. So it's so powerful. Because this is not a book. The holy name is not a mantra. All these are Chetan Tattva. They are conscious. Bhagavad is conscious. Holy name is conscious. And they will reciprocate with you provided you follow properly. You approach properly. So that's why reading is so important. Prabhupada said, you have to read daily 1 or 2 hours. Attend the morning and evening classes. Because we are loaded with ignorance. So much ignorance. So if we don't read, and you know why Bhagavatam is not just an ordinary book? Because if you read Bhagavad Gita, because if you read Bhagavad Gita even after 25 years, now it's just like ever fresh and new. Every time you read is new. But sometimes we feel it's like boring and all that. That's because our consciousness, because we are either associating with our previous mind, which is lot of asat, or we are associating externally with asat. That's why we feel something like this. We have no taste. So how do you get taste for reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? By serving the sadhus. By serving the sadhus.
You serve the sadhus, and then you get the taste. Two types, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Two types of Bhagavata are there. The book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat. By serving the person Bhagavat, you get taste for the book Bhagavat. Right? So this is, you have to do it. It's no good just saying this or reading this. You have to serve. When you serve, you will get the taste. And you will get also realization, which is actually revelation. We think we got realization, but it's actually revelation.
Krishna is doing all the magic,
But he is remaining behind the scene, unseen. So how to read the scriptures? First thing is with faith. Faith. If you read without faith, you won't get much. You have to have faith. And to have faith, you have to read Mahatmya. Like Guru Maharaj also gives Katha, Bhagavad Katha in Puram. He gives. So he always starts off with Bhagavad Mahatmya. Dundukari Katha, and so by reading Bhagavad Mahatmya, there is also a book which has the Mahatmya of both Gita and Bhagavad. So you can read that book. By reading, your faith in reading will develop. And then by having faith in Prabhupada's instructions, about reading and also about distributing these books, you will get more increase in your faith. You have to have a habit of regular reading. You have to have a discipline. Without discipline, you cannot be successful even materially. What to speak of spiritually. So, you have to have discipline in your reading. I must read this much. You must have a sankalpa that yes, I must read 10 minutes at least, or 15 minutes, or gradually increase, You must have that sankalpa, and you must follow through like that. Because we have the books, but we don't read the books. Then what happens? 10 years go by and somebody asks you a question and you don't know anything. What's the use? 10 years you wasted. If supposing you had read 1 hour in 10 years, how many is that? 3,650 hours of reading. What happens if you read for 3,650 hours? What happens? You become a pandit. You become a guru. Like we have this coach guru here, defense coach. Right? We can also take inspiration from, materially successful. Elon Musk reads 1 book every day. Bill Gates reads 1 book every week. Warren Buffett reads 4 hours on investing and all this finance daily. Leaders are leaders. Guru Maharaj says this many times. Otherwise, you're not going to be a leader if you don't read. Krishna Bhakta Vada Chatur. Mahaprabhu said, Krishna devotee is not a fool. He is very intelligent. So, by reading you will develop. Recently we were there in Vijayanagar, so some Matajis are there, and they also initiated, but they cannot read. So then one day I said, how what they can do. So Krishna gave me this idea. Because, whenever there's a Bhagavad Katha, there is puja, there is aarti of Bhagavatam. So, this is a good etiquette for anyone to approach Bhagavatam. You offer some flowers, some incense, the obeisances, and then start reading. Your reading will be much more quality. So I told this Mataji, and one Mataji, she told me, she started paying 108 obeisances because she can't read to the book. I said, wow. Every day she's paying 108 obeisances to Gita Bhagavad, Definitely she will get knowledge. Because we know from Mahaprabhu's Leela, there was a Brahmin in South India. He was holding the book also upside down, right? But when he could not read. But when he saw Krishna on the chariot instructing Arjuna, then Nayanam Galadasudaya, oh my God, was so kind, devotion. So, how to have a heart-to-heart relationship with whether you can read or you can't read, you must have a heart-to-heart relationship with your heart. It's Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna is saying, Krishna's instruction, and Bhagavatam is Krishna. So you should develop a heart-to-heart, help Krishna spread the mission by distributing the books, follow the scriptural injunctions and become trustworthy to Shastra, that yes, this person is following what I have written. Krishna will say, yeah, whatever I am writing he is following. I can trust this person. And care for the books, keep them in a clean place, worship them. You don't have to be a Pandit, I am only 12th pass. People don't believe when I tell them that I have only done 12th pass. They say, no, you must be PhD, this, that. So it's mercy, It's just mercy that, we can become instruments. You don't have to be a Pandit. It's good if you're a Pandit because some Pandits are required to fight the other Pandits. Some people need to become Pandits because how they will fight the Pandits. If they put me in front of a Pandit, I can't fight him. I know he's wrong, but what sloka I will remove? So anyone, and that's what Krishna says, it doesn't matter, you're a Vaishya, Sudra, Stri, it doesn't matter. Whoever takes shelter of me can attain the perfection. And we saw in Prabhupada's case, he went to Tompkins Square Park, and he got all the hippies, and he made them into big sadhus. So the process is perfect. This Panchanga Bhakti, if you take shelter of the scriptures, of the holy name, of the devotee association, of the dham, and of the deities, definitely you will make spiritual growth. Definitely. Have to take shelter. Here's one Mahatmya of Sanatana Goswami of Srimad Bhagavatam. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly. Sanatana Goswami, his words can't be flawless, His words are flawless.
O giver of saintliness to the unsaintly, O uplifter of the very fallen, please don't ever leave me. Please become manifest in my heart and my throat, accompanied by Krishna Prem. So we don't have much time, but Gita Mahatmya by Shankaracharya is there, and then Bhagavad Mahatmya is there. Prabhuji will give you the books, and you will read from that. And there also it's given the different type of speakers and the listeners, right? So we will not go into that. You can take from there. So you should pray to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, to help you make advancement. You should have faith that your ignorance will be completely removed by taking shelter of the scriptures, right? You should spend quality time. You should not try to read when you're tired and sleepy like that. Fresh. What is the best time where you are fresh? Give that time to scriptures. Appreciate the scriptures. Have gratitude. Remember positive experiences of your previous reading, by reading how you got elevated like that. How Bhagavad Gita helped you, how Bhagavad helped you. Remember and relive those experiences. And you must have a goal. You must have a goal. You must have an intense desire to become a person Bhagavat. Because you cannot get Krishna without becoming a Bhagavat. You have to become a proper sadhu, proper Vaishnava. You have to, in the beginning it's okay. After few years, you don't want to be caught up in mediocrity, 20 years have gone and you're still a kanista. You don't want to be caught up there. So you want to become a real, authentic devotee. A real, authentic devotee. So you take shelter, nice shelter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad, scriptures. So many books Prabhupada has written, and then after that, from the permission of your authorities, Acharya's books, so much literature just to help us, become real, authentic devotees, become a person, Bhagavad ourselves. You think your Guru Maharaj has given you an initiation to remain a neophyte all life? No. He wants you to, become. So we should have a goal. We should, and in order to have that goal, we will discuss in the afternoon session. Because there are 3 stages of reading or hearing. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan. Only hearing and reading and telling others, that is not sufficient. That takes us to X level, but not to the full, our goal, So we will discuss that. So any 1 or 2 questions, and then we can, I don't know what is next after this. Regarding scriptures, reading, anyone has something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You said that So now we can Shishastikam with that. We will have a mindset that we are less than a grass of blade of grass. So, but usually when we see someone who is doing anarthas or like even we do anarthas, but still we get a mindset that we are better than them. We feel that we are better than them. Even if we know that we should have a mindset that we are not better than them, we are less than that, but we still usually get a mindset like that. What should we do? Or if my understanding is wrong in this, can you please correct me, Prabhuji?
No, that is natural in our conditioned stage. So, dosham icchanti pamara, sajjana gunam icchanti. Duryodhan is seeing faults in all the Pandavas also. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, he is seeing good even in Duryodhan. So, although we see the faults, we should find the good and focus on that. And then think that we don't have that, and in that way is better than us. Keep ourselves humble. But it's not like a day one thing that you can achieve it, you know. You can move one baby step towards that, and it will take a few years before you actually can come to that level, right? Because there's, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, there's 4 types of sadhus and 4 types of asadhus. Mahat, Mahatar, Mahatam, Ati Mahatam. The Mahat, he sees the good and the bad, but he focuses on the good, understanding that because this devotee is doing devotion, by the devotion he will become purified. And then different degrees they see and apply like that. And the Ati Mahatam, where there is no good also he sees good only. I mean, we cannot even conceive how that is possible, but it comes by, when you become advanced, it will come. Then there is a sadhu who is only focused, even if he sees good, but he only focuses on the faults. And then ati asadhutam, asadu, asadutar, asadutam, ati asadutam. Where there is no fault, only good, he sees all faults. So now we have to see where we want to go, and how we can come there, So Raghunath Das Goswami in Mana Shiksha, he says this fault finding these heavy words are used to, tame the mind. Fault finding is like bathing in the urine of an ass. In previous times, the kings, what they used to do, to punish someone, they will take and put his head under the urine, and he will become bald. He will lose all his hair. So, by reminding us like that, we can tame our mind to stop seeing faults. Because if we stop seeing faults and keep criticizing devotees, then we cannot make progress. Nindanam dosha kirtanam. Sridhar Goswami says, what is ninda? Whether there is fault or there is no fault, talking about that, kirtan, talking about someone's fault, even if there is fault, even if there is no fault, it is ninda. So we have to gradually train ourselves that we don't focus on that. How we deal with that person can be practical. Okay, we may not go too close to them like that, but our attitude has to come out of negativity, otherwise we will not make progress. That's why it's a training. You have to take training. Without proper training, it will be difficult.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful session.
You told us that sadhus we get taste for meditation. By serving sadhus we get taste for meditation. So serving in the sense Vamsu Seva or Vani Seva, or which is essential?
Both. Money is obviously more important, but both are important for our stage and our conditioned stage. Both are important. Both is important. We will learn more and we benefit more. Both somehow or other do that. If you can't serve him directly, serve his servant. For example, if Guru Maharaj is coming in the car and his servant is closing his door, then you close the door of the servant. And you will become even humble. Das and das. Like that. If you are not getting the service to wash the clothes of Guru Maharaj, then wash the clothes of his servant. Or do some service for him. Like that. Then eventually you will get the service of Maharaj. You become qualified.
So I have the doubt about the offenses. I mean, the individual nature which you are mentioning, that because of the past life or one
Prejudice.
Yeah, prejudice. So and you also mentioned, Prabhu, that it is not possible for an individual to overcome that prejudice. It is not possible for an individual to overcome the prejudice. So because of that prejudice, the 10 offenses is committed. So Prabhu, if it is not possible for an individual, so what is the possible way for him? And let's suppose if that individual is not having taste for Sadhu Sanga. So in that case, how can one overcome?
He has to associate with the sadhus even if he doesn't have taste and serve them. There's no other way. Even if you are Mrigari or Valmiki, it is only the sadhu who will make the path for you. Somehow or other you have to, in prakara, you got to get the sadhu's mercy. You got to do something for them. But you have your role also, Prejudice is also an anartha in Hridaya Dharma. So for every anartha, it is removed by Krishna, and alone is not possible, but you have to do what is possible for you, and that is not to feed or cultivate knowingly or unknowingly that anartha. You have to learn this also from the sadhu. How not to feed, how not to cultivate. If you don't do that, you are unknowingly cultivating, and then you won't make progress. Because if you, for example, if you are contemplating sense object, and then you are trying a lot of sadhanas, it will not work because it's not, you got some insincerity. It's called deceit. The anartha there described by Raghunath Das Goswami is deceit. You are cheating yourself. So by associating with the sadhus, by their lectures, your deceit will be exposed, and then by their personal guidance, their disease will be removed. Like that. I'm not trying to frighten anyone, please excuse me. But bhakti is a science, like Prabhupada said, it's a scientific process. And it's not so difficult. Why? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai Shamanadi Shubchite Kare Udoy. Every human being, every living entity has the potential to love Krishna. But that potential can only be come to full blossom in human life. And that can be only possible when they associate with the sadhus. So that's why Sadhu Sanga is the rule. So no matter how chronic problems you have, if you have goal clarity and you remember your potential and then you work on your discipline, you can achieve it. Because Sadhu Sangha doesn't work without discipline. That's why in Jaina Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, this two devotees are asking, what is the secret of success in bhakti? So they say it's two things, Sadhu Sangha and Sharanagati. Many people associated with Prabhupada, but they're still not chanting 16 times. Right? So, if you don't do what the sadhu is telling you to do, you don't make much progress. Right? So, Sharanagati means Anukulyasya Sankalpa, doing what is favorable, Pratikulyasya Vajana, stopping what is unfavorable, Rakshasiti Vishwaso, depending on Krishna's protection, Bhoktritve Varanam, having faith that I don't have to work like an ass, I'm a human being. I work for a few hours smart way and I maintain my life. Oh, Krishna is going to supply me my needs. Krishna is supplying the elephant 50 kg per day. Why 1 kg will not supply me? That faith must be there in Krishna. Bhoktritve Bhakti is the maintainer. I am not the maintainer. Dainya, remain humble and meek, don't get puffed up. I'm just the 1/10,000th tip of their spirit soul. I'm not the doer, I'm not the controller. Right? And Atmanikshet. Surrender to Krishna fully. What does Atmanikshet mean? My only one and only one desire is to fulfill Krishna's desire. I have no other desire. Anya Vilasita Sunni. That may not be immediate, but at least that should be the goal. That should be the goal. That I want to align my desire with Krishna's desire and have no separate desire from Krishna. If you just desire this is very rare in the material world. I was talking to Radharaman Maharaj. So he says, if somebody just desires pure devotional service, it's very rare in this material world. Because everyone has manokamana. Whenever they go to spiritual, manokamana puri ho jata. They become romanchaka pastu pranamba bhajo. And when you talk about giving up all desire, they go. But that is because of ignorance. Because we think we are this body, and by satisfying the body, we will satisfy our real self, the soul. But that doesn't happen. Every success psychologist is saying that whomever they coached and fulfilled their desire to $10 million, he never got satisfied with 10 million. He took him to 100 million, he never got satisfied. Why? Because there's a law. material law. Law of diminishing interest. You take a child to the toy shop, bring one toy, after 3 days that toy, that child will not touch for life. You get married, after 1 year the romance is in. No love letters, no email, no. It just becomes normal. That's the law. That's the material law. Hare Krishna.
Yes, to service and if you right to the example says my efforts are failure, bring down or think how to be so that in the journey various kind of service people can do, but there is a failure of that.
Failure of?
Mess up concept. You mess up into the situations, whatever service you do, little less is happens.
Take training, and not try to do everything. Prabhupada said, a little bit of a pure thing is better than volumes of impure thing. So focus on your strength, and don't try to do everything. And learn how to do it better. That's the way you have to learn. By practicing, you become better and expert. You practice makes perfect. That's why you need to read, If you don't read, you don't hear, you don't take training. That's why yesterday also we discussed the methods, rules, and regulations by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service constitutes Bhakti Lata Beach. This is the definition Srila Prabhupada has given of Bhakti Lata Beach. Methods, rules, regulations, perfect training, 4 things. If one is missing, then how the Bhakti, we never see a half seed. If you have some moong or chana, and you see only half, and you put it in the soil, it's going to sprout? Won't sprout. It has to be a full seed. So what is that full seed? Methods, rules, regulations, perfect training.
GM method means what?
Huh?
Method indicates what here? Method.
Method means the way it should be done. The process, how to chant, you're chanting, but how to chant? What mindset, what attitude, what faith, in which position, like how to sit. That's a method of sitting while japa. If you sit in a sloppy way, naturally you will fall. Prabhupada says, sit properly. So in yoga, you have to keep the spine straight. If you keep the spine, then you cannot sleep. Only when you start bending the spine, the sleep starts entering. It's nearly 10 to 1. Probably 10 to 1. We're supposed to end at 12:30 now.
12:30.
Okay, last.
Hare Krishna Puram. Prabhuji, we hear from you that we need to reprogram our mind. We need to reprogram our mind. So,
Definitely.
like
Our mind is programmed for hell.
So one big question, Prabhuji, if we have to inculcate the habit of reading the scriptures regularly, then how can we reprogram that? Means like we brush the teeth. So we are reprogrammed that without brushing the teeth we can't start the day. So like that, what quick fix we can do so that we can reprogram our mind that reading the scriptures is a mandatory thing for the day.
Read the Mahatmya, and do a calculation, do a graph, that how many years have you been in ISKCON, and how many hours have you missed reading or you have not read anything, and what would have happened if you had read. So this will come in our next session. Manan is very important. We have to introspect. What am I doing? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Am I growing? Why am I not growing? What is holding me back? You have to coach yourself. But if you do that, then because one more thing to show. So this is your mind, right? This is your mind, and this is your intelligence. So Krishna says, by intelligence you control the mind, right? And this is the wind of Maya. Mind. So now you have your mind, and this is your intelligence. So when you surcharge your intelligence with knowledge, scripture knowledge, that mind cannot, So the problem is you don't have knowledge, that's why intelligence cannot work. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna.